In this barren time of no F1 for the past month, we have been struggling to look at things, We've been struggling to find things to really talk about. But there's a little snippet of news that I've just seen come up, and that is a man called Michael Andretti. You may have heard of him. If you haven't, then this video is for you. But he is looking to buy an F1 team. Would that be a good idea? Would he be able to make a successful F1 team? Let's look into it. Before we get into this video, I'm going to ask you guys to hit that subscribe button, and if you like it, if you really like this video, then hit that like button, because it sure as hell helps out. Thank you very much. Let's get into it. So who is Michael Andretti? Well, you may have heard of his dad, definitely. I mean, Mario Andretti was a 4-time IndyCar winner, and above all, an F1 world champion. One of only 2 Americans to win the F1 World Championship, and doing it in a very, very nice looking Lotus. So yes, Mario Andretti, very famous man. But his son Michael Andretti, also pretty good at racing. He is a 1-time IndyCar champion, and he raced in the IndyCar series for around 20 years, with a break. And that break was to race in Formula 1. His Formula 1 racing wasn't quite as good as his dad. He only raced for 1 season there for McLaren alongside the legendary Ayrton Senna. But unfortunately for him, there was a young guy by the name of Mika Hakkinen who came through and replaced him almost at the end of his 1 season, right after he got his first podium at Monza. The poor guy. But this isn't about his racing antics. This isn't about how good he is at driving a car. No. This is about how good he is at really owning a team and pushing it to the next level, because that is what he will be doing if he gets an F1 team. So in 2003, he made his first purchase of a team, and that was Team Green in the IndyCar Racing Series. He would rename it to Andretti Green, and that team would go on to be very successful in the next few years, winning the 2004 series with Tony Kanaan, the 2005 series with Dan Wheldon, and the 2007 series with Dario Franchitti. It would also compete in other series, such as the American Le Mans series in 2007 and 2008, where it would finish 5th and 4th in the LMP2 standings respectively. It would also enter as Team USA in the 2008-09 A1GP season, which was a bit of a train wreck. As such, it was A1GP's final series where they would finish 11th place overall. In 2008, Andretti would enter into the Indy Lights competition as well, the premier IndyCar feeder series, and would win their debut championship with Rafael Matos. But in 2009, Andretti Green Racing wouldn't be green anymore. They would change the name to Andretti Autosport. Between 2010 and 2013, Andretti Autosport would also compete in the USF 2000 series, and they would win in their debut championship season in 2010 with Serge Karam. Between 2011 and 2015, they would also compete in the Pro Mazda Championship, with Matthew Brabham winning them the championship in 2013. But getting back to IndyCar, in 2012, Andretti Autosport would get back to the top of the IndyCar series, with Ryan Hunter-Reay winning them their first championship under that name, and so far, their last. They haven't been the most successful in IndyCar recently, and that could be an issue panning over to F1. Between 2014 and 2017, Andretti would enter into the Global Rallycross Championship, and they would enter with Tanner Faust and the man most suited for racing ever in the former F1 driver Scott Speed. Scott Speed would live up to his name and win the 2015, 16 and 17 championships before the series folded. In 2014, and this is the place where you most likely have heard about this name from if you're outside of the States and not born before 1990, Andretti would enter into the Formula E season, where he'd be competing to this day. Their most recent season would actually be their most successful of the 6 or 7 years that they've been in here, with Jake Dennis being 3rd place in the standings. And that's kind of a recap of what he has done owning these teams over his whole career. Is he suitable for F1? It's tricky to say. He seemed to have a good start. He seemed to get into IndyCar and really progress forward and win championships, but it has stagnated over the past 10 years. Let's be real. And he has gone into a lot of different series. And has he committed? Not really. Only Formula E and IndyCar are the ones that he's racing to this day. And what teams would he buy? Well, Haas is the most likely one, Haas is there. It seems to be up for sale. It's owned by an American already in Gene Haas. But buying it seems like a bit of a poison chalice. They aren't successful. They seem to be really, really struggling. And whether he could advance them forward without a massive influx of money is a struggle. The other 2 teams that you would be likely to buy, because no one's buying a Mercedes or a Ferrari or a Red Bull, The other two teams that you'd be likely to buy are Williams and Alfa Romeo. Williams seems to be heading in the right direction, but it would be tricky to buy Williams and to stamp your own thing on it. Williams is such an iconic name. It's something that people seem to identify themselves with as the classic of racing. You know, it's the working man's team almost. Alfa Romeo, on the other hand, for me is almost a no-brainer. Alfa Romeo are Sauber, and Andretti has the Formula E team that even this year was backed by BMW. BMW being the previous Sauber people before Alfa Romeo. Now, whether Andretti can get a consortium with BMW and bring back the BMW Sauber into F1 seems like a no-brainer. You know, BMW Andretti as Sauber, why not? But whether he has the funds, whether he has the experience to bring an F1 team upwards is a completely different story. And it's so hard to get into an F1 team. Everyone's tried it. But this man has a lot of experience in other racing series. So who knows? We could be looking at an Andretti Autosport F1 team in the near future. Thank you very much for watching this video. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. This has been quite a short one today, and I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.